Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. Welcome to another remote edition of our very compelling programming. We're pleased to be joined by Wendy McGuire, CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Paterson and Passaic. Wendy, good to have you with us.
Good morning, Steve. Thanks for inviting me to join you today.
Let's get right into this. We've been part of an initiative called Reimagine Childcare, it previously known as Right from the Start NJ, all about childcare, all about quality, affordable, accessible childcare. Your organization committed to this, particularly for children in Paterson and Passaic. Talk about where you are and how this pandemic has affected your work.
Well, pre-pandemic, we served about 1,500 kids a day at 10 locations in Paterson and Passaic. Boys and Girls Club has been in the community for nearly 60 years. And then in March, when schools closed, we had to reimagine, we had to adapt how we would serve the community and what the community needed. So we took a deep breath and we dove in and provided emergency food relief, which is obviously not part of childcare, but definitely part of community service and was something that was desperately needed in the community. That lasted for about 12 weeks and wound up delivering about 500,000 pounds of food. So the gymnasium that usually housed kids playing was now a warehouse, and our youth development specialists became emergency food relief workers. So it was, I think the most important thing was that it was meaningful, right? During a time where everybody felt that they weren't as useful as they could be, they were staying at home. It was something that we found very impactful. But then as things progressed and as we moved towards June and as we were allowed to reopen for summer camp, that's exactly what we did. So in summer, for 8 weeks, we had about 130 kids in the building, full day. And it was not the same as it used to be. You know, summer camp, they now had masks on. They had to stay in the same rooms with the same staff, but they were safe. They had breakfast and lunch. They were with caring adults. And even more importantly, their parents could return to work. So we had a very successful summer. And now we are open right now for full day where the kids are here in our care, logging on like they should be for school. So they're with us full day. So we've pivoted a few times.
Wendy, let's do this because I'm big on innovation. I'm big on adaptation, and Reimagine Childcare is an initiative that really looks at the whole reimagining, if you will, of what childcare needs to look like moving forward. Question, your funding for what you do, our funding, as we're both nonprofits, the Terrell Fund, a big part of that. They're the folks that are pushing, one of the not-for-profits, the foundation's pushing Reimagine Childcare. Put it in context for people who may not live in the Paterson, Passaic area who say, that's not my kid, I'm good. I got childcare for my kids, so I feel bad for those kids and those families in Paterson, Passaic, but not really my issue. Explain to folks why it's everyone's issue.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up, and we are in complete alignment on that. When we talk about community, so I'm born and raised in Bergen County, understood there to be a county line between Bergen and Passaic, but it's not really anything but a line on a map. Our community is our community, and it extends beyond Bergen County into Passaic, and the needs of the kids are important. Because as somebody put it during this pandemic, we're all in the same storm, but we're not all in the same boat. So some of the statistics that are available, and some of the statistics that describe Paterson and Passaic are things that people in Bergen County wouldn't even think of. When you look at the graduation rates are 70%. That's unacceptable. And so the club, from an adaptation standpoint, now that we look at the kids in our care, we've put resources towards assessing those kids and finding out where they're at. And then we're going to put more resources into making sure that they get back on track.
So hold on one second. Are you open at 7:30 in the morning?
Yes, we are.
Do you go sometimes till 5 o'clock or at 5:30 at night?
7:30 to 5:30 are our hours now.
No disrespect to our friends in Bergen County, but let me just say this. If you don't know Bergen County, one of the wealthiest counties in the nation. Let's just say in Paterson, Passaic, that's not nearly the case. The reality is there are separate realities. The reality is those children, those families need more assistance. And it's not because they want anything less for their children than you do. Again, I'll get off my soapbox, but let people understand what's at stake for these children if they don't get the quality child care that we're talking about in communities like Paterson, Passaic, provided by your organization.
It's not just the kids, it's the parents. So in other counties, there's much more access to either dollars, for somebody to come in the house and take care of them, and those learning pods and
That's
so
right.
forth and so on. In Paterson, Passaic, that doesn't exist. So it's really critical, especially now because it's harder to reopen a lot of the school-based programs because the schools aren't open yet. It's incredibly important for everybody to understand that the kids in Paterson and Passaic are the same as the kids in Bergen County. They're smart, they're ambitious, they're intelligent, they're funny, they're polite, and what the difference is, the major difference is opportunity. So that's the real key here, is that there is no difference between the children based on their zip code or where they live.
Let's just remind people they also have great potential, and we, all of us, have a responsibility to giving every one of those kids, whether it's Paterson or Passaic or Newark or Jersey City or any urban community, those children every opportunity to succeed. I want to thank Wendy McGuire, CEO, Boys and Girls Clubs of Paterson and Passaic. This is part of our Reimagine Child Care Initiative. Wendy, thank you so much. All the best to you and your colleagues. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, Steve. You too.
I'm Steve Adubato. We'll be right back.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, the Turrell Fund, supporting Reimagine Childcare, PNC, Grow Up Great, NJM Insurance Group, the New Jersey Education Association, the North Ward Center, the Russell Berry Foundation, Caldwell University, and by St. Joseph's Health. Promotional support provided by NorthJersey.com and Local IQ, part of the USA Today network. And by New Jersey Monthly.
Being a kid is all about playing, laughing, and having fun. Doing what they do best, from rolling in leaves to building a snowman. But when illness or injury slows your little one down, you want the best pediatric care possible. Turn to the experts at the St. Joseph's Children's Hospital to get your superhero feeling super again. St. Joseph's Health, helping kids be kids.